What is up? Clay Enjoyer here. It is time to enjoy. In this video, I made Nyan Cat, but he's realistic, and sorry for that. On any note, it's now time to ruin some childhoods, my favorite pastime. Now I can start by making Nyan Cat's Pop-Tart, starting with a bit of clay and cutting it down to size before smoothing out the edges. And this one maneuver changes literally nothing about the final product. Now I can add a worm of clay to be the Pop-Tart filling thing. Then, after smoothing it out, I can work on making the little candy ball things on the Pop-Tart. I have no idea what these are, but I have to add them anyway, so no one won't get mad at me. Then I can smooth them out to make them look more realistic. With that finished, I can stab the cat's face to give him some eyeballs. Then I can squish some worms of clay around the cat's eyes to make it look more unsettling, but also realistic. Now with that done, I can give him his little nose and his pixelated cat smile. Then I can give Nyan Cat some slightly wonky triangle ears before pressing them in place and moving on to something else, like giving the ears a more interesting shape. Since the basic face of the cat is done, I can give the cat a bunch of dots on its nose to make it realistic cat nose texture, and then I can start scratching the clay to give it a fur-like texture to make it look more believable that it's a realistic cat. Now with that done, I can move on to sculpting the paws from some very asymmetrical chunks of clay. And then I can work on texturing them as well, giving that realistic fur texture. Now with the paws done, I can make the final thing, the cat's tail, because all cats need at least some kind of tail, and especially this cursed realistic one does. Now with that done, I can move on to painting, starting with the Pop-Tart with a nice tan color, before moving on and painting other sections of the Pop-Tart a nice brown color to give it some variation and make it look more interesting. After that is done, I can paint on 18 layers of pink just to get an even coat, because this paint is really annoying. Then I can work on giving it some darker paint texture. Now for the final step in the Pop-Tart, I can paint on the little candy things with a nice coat of red before moving on to painting the cat a nice gray as a base coat. Now, since I still have gray paint on my brush, I can paint the beans that are the cat's paws, as well as his goofy tail. To bring out some of the sharpness from the fur, I can give it a dark gray wash, and then let it dry so it seeps into all the cracks and marks that I made for the fur. Can't forget the tail either. Then I can paint Nyan Cat's eyes. They look very lifeless and dark at the moment, but don't worry because I will add some white paint to give them some life back. And then I can also paint the nose and the rest of the mouth. Perfection. And then I can paint the ears a nice pink to break up all the gray and black to make the cat's face look a little more interesting before adding life back like I had said earlier. Then I can put some UV resin to make that slightly uncomfortable shine. After making all the parts, I can put them together in a way that makes it look like I did but don't worry, it will be in the next frame. With that step finished, I can crack out the airbrush and make Nyan Cat's rainbow coming out of the back, just to make it a little more interesting and a little brighter. And we are done. Time for the reveal. See guys, I love wrecking your childhoods. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks.